Grab your cup of coffee because it's time for a little inspiration.
Good morning and happy Friday. I am so excited to be here with you guys on this gorgeous Friday morning for another episode of Coffee Time Inspirations. But I am coming to you with a little bit of sad news. So as you've seen from my posts throughout the week, I have been promising to have an incredible guest speaker, the amazing Linda Cazone, who is a sales and leadership coach. Linda, and she is just a really remarkable woman who helps other women entrepreneurs and probably male entrepreneurs too get paid their worth and really define their business in a way that supports them in the most loving, honoring way. And sadly, Linda is not feeling good today. She has got the flu. And so she was super unfortunate that she has a flu, but she was so disappointed that she was not going to be able to join us here. And I am really sad that I don't get to share her expertise with all of you guys. But I didn't want to leave you hanging because pricing is a big topic that a lot of people struggle with. And so it's something that I still wanted to talk about here today. So I've got something up my sleeve that I'm going to share with you guys that expands on what we talked about on Wednesday when I was talking about making your website a contract with yourself. And in the meantime, I'm just going to ask you guys to send some serious, loving, healing thoughts out to Linda here because we want her to be on the mend. And don't worry, her and I are going to try and work something out here in the near future so that her expertise is still going to be able to be shared and your questions are going to be answered because we did get a lot of great questions. So loving, healing thoughts out to Linda. Hopefully she will be on the mend soon and that this flu will not destroy her entire weekend because it's bad enough that it is destroying her Friday here. So again, we are still going to talk about pricing today. We're just going to take a little different approach because I think it's an important conversation and one that we can have multiple times. Now, as you guys are joining me here, please say hello. I'd love to know who is joining me because Facebook doesn't always let me know who is here. And I would just love to give you a shout out for joining me, whether you're here live or in the replay. And with that, I will go ahead and let you guys know a little bit more about what we're going to talk about. Now on Wednesday, we talked about making your website a contract with yourself, defining what it is that you do, how you do it, how you're going to deliver it, and making that a contract with yourself so that you are always delivering what you've promised from your website, no more or no less. And today, we're going to expand on that and talk about defining your prices. So now would be a great time to invite people that you think will benefit from this conversation because I know it's a big topic for a lot of entrepreneurs, or to share this with others and to grab a notepad if you want to join in and catch up on anything here. All right. So like I said, I'm going to be talking about pricing still. Even though Linda is ill and not able to join us, we're going to start by talking off about defining prices. Because defining our prices is one of the toughest things we do, especially when it comes to being a new entrepreneur. And how do we do that? And how do we do it in a way that gets us paid a fair price? So I want to share with you guys something that I have witnessed, something I've experienced, and something that I think is going to help you as well because it's been a big shift in my life. But when it comes to defining prices, one of the things that I have noticed happens is that when it comes to, we take a look at the field of expertise in our area and we define our prices based on what we see without ever looking internally to our own business. And so this is kind of pretty typical, and I see this happening, and I did this myself when I had my first coaching business and even when I started my web design business, is we take a look at what other experts in our area are offering or what their pricing is. And then we set our prices in one of two ways typically. We either go at the low end because we're pretty new and we want to build some more experience, and so we set our prices at the lower end of what the people in our area are doing. Or we go into that mid-range where we want to be competitive because we feel like we've got really good experience and that we can offer a competitive service, so we want to offer a competitive price. I haven't ever found anyone jumping in who starts off with a high end, but if you do, give us a shout out and tell us why you did that, because I would love to know the confidence that you have that sets your price at a high end. But that's how most people set their business prices, is they look at what the other experts in their area, in their field, are doing within the area around them, and they set their prices based on that knowledge. What we fail to do often is take a look at our own operating costs in place and set our prices based on that. And that is where we run into some traps. I know one of the biggest traps that I dealt with was price fluctuations. Is I set a price, and based on what the industry was doing in my area when I was doing health coaching, I set a price, and then I realized I went originally into the medium range. And in setting that price in the medium range, I realized pretty soon that I wasn't quite making enough money to cover my operating expenses and to pay myself so that I could live off of what I was making. So then I panicked, and I fluctuated my prices, and I jumped up high. And in jumping up high, I stopped bringing in clients because I jumped quickly without any rhyme or reason. All of a sudden, I just jumped my prices out of fear. When I jumped my prices out of fear, I stopped bringing in clients. So then I panicked again, and I got fearful again, and I dropped way low, offering a ridiculous sale price. And while I was selling more and I was making more money, I still wasn't able to cover my operating costs and my living expenses comfortably. And so that's what I did for the first couple years in my coaching business. My health coaching business was I fluctuated my prices constantly, trying to find that sweet spot that I was able to live off of and operate off of. And so a big shift for me, and what helped me a lot when it came to building my web design business, was instead of looking at things from the perspective of what everybody else is doing, I took a look at what do I need to do in order to make the money that I need to make to operate and live comfortably based on my business. And so that's what I want to share with you guys. And one of the biggest shifts that I had in this was from the book Profit First. Now, I am not a profit first expert. I'm not a financial expert. You guys don't replace your financial experts with me, because I'm not that person. But this book was a powerful inspiration to me, and one that really helped me put things in a perspective that not only has me feeling much more successful, but it also ensures that I'm getting paid, that I'm showing a profit, and that I'm able to easily cover all of my expenses, including taxes at the end of the year. And so that's what I want to kind of share with you, is my experience in doing this when it comes to defining prices. And so let me share with you what I did. So the first thing I did is I took one of my standard packages, and I just took a look at that specific package, and I broke it up into 4 different categories: profit, my own personal compensation, tax, so that I had money to pay my taxes at the end of the year, and then my operating expenses. And then looking at those numbers, I asked myself a couple of really key questions. First question was, am I getting paid what I'm worth? When I looked at what everything broke out to, the operating, money was able to cover operating expenses, what money was going to taxes, that is really not my money, it's Uncle Sam's money, what money is coming to pay for my services. Am I getting paid what I was worth? And thankfully, I felt pretty good about what I'm getting paid now. But I also looked at the first pricing structure I had for my web design business, and I got to tell you, it was pretty dismal. Had I set my prices based on this book and the methods and the things that they recommended, I would have never set those prices. There's just no way I would have. The next question that I asked myself is, can I live off of the compensation that I had broken out in this category? You know, when I look at how much I'm getting compensated and the percentages, I'm going to encourage you guys to read the book or work with a Profit First professional so that you can make sure that you're getting the best for you. I don't want to give you my percentages because I want you to do what is best for you. But, oh, you're so welcome, Crystal. Yeah, this was a powerful exercise for me. But I also looked and was like, can I live off of what I'm compensating myself? And again, I felt pretty comfortable and pretty with what I had priced now. But what I had priced originally was I couldn't live off of it. There was just no way. Thankfully, at that time, I had other income coming in from other resources, because I wouldn't have been able to live off of what I was charging for a web design package 2 years ago when I first got started. The next question that I ask myself, and that I encourage you to ask yourself, is, do I have enough money to cover my operating expenses? And this was a powerful one, because there are going to be monthly expenses, quarterly expenses, annual expenses that we have to cover. And if you don't have the money to easily do so out of your operating expenses, you're always going to be struggling, and you're always going to be panicking. And the first thing that you're going to compromise in doing that is your profit and your own personal compensation. I cannot tell you how many times I worked for an entire month and never compensated myself at all. And it feels miserable to work for nothing, because that's exactly what I was doing. I was working for nothing, because every dollar that came in, I put back into the business. So you want to make sure that you can easily cover your operating expenses all of the time. The next thing that I want you to ask yourself is, are there any operating expenses that I no longer need? Now, this was a huge one, because when I took a look at my monthly operating expenses and my quarterly and annually ones, I realized that there was quite a few things that I really didn't need to have. And there was a few things that could be replaced with a just as reliable and amazing, cheaper option. And so that was one of the things that was super powerful for me, because it also increased the operating expenses I have available. And I was able to cut my operating expenses budget by 33%. That is a huge cut. And I did that just because I took a look at things from this perspective. And so let's see what Crystal, first year in business, I only see $700. Like, who could live off of $700 in a year? That's exactly what I want us to do, is to look at ourselves and how are we paying ourselves. And here's one of the things that I did, is that I never officially paid myself. I would pull money out of my business account to cover personal expenses. And sometimes I would just dip into my business account without paying attention to what I was doing and overextend myself. That's never good. But I never officially paid myself until I applied this method, until I started working with numbers in this sense. I never applied or paid myself officially. And just in this one of my recent jobs that I brought in, I actually sat down and wrote myself my very first commissions check and made it official. Like, I wrote myself a check and I went to the bank and I put it into my personal income account. And that felt so freaking amazing, because for the first time ever, I wrote myself an official business or commissions check. I felt like I got paid for the work that I was doing. I felt empowered and excited and wanting to do more. There was so many things that writing that commissions check did for me, that's why I'm encouraging you guys to do this. So that's the first thing that I wanted to share with you guys today, to expand on, and that is just defining your prices in a way that ensures that you're getting paid what you are worth, that you are showing a profit in your business, and that you are actually covering your expenses, your living expenses, very, very, very easily. And so that was the first thing. The next thing that I want to encourage you guys to take a look at is your discount policy. Now, a lot of people dismiss this one, but yet they make decisions on discount policy on the fly, and they wind up hurting themselves in the end. And we also don't look at discounts from a very broad perspective. Like, we look at discounts as being a discount for a specific group. Say you want to offer a veterans discount. There are businesses out there that do that, and that's great. But what about sale prices? Are you ever going to put your products on sale? If you're putting anything you offer on sale, you're offering a discount, and you need to define how that discount is going to look, how it's going to impact your business, so that you can ensure that even in the moments that you're offering a discount, you're getting paid what you deserve. And so that's what I wanted to talk about next. Now, it may very well be that discount policy is as simple as, I'm not going to offer discounts. But even so, you want to take the time to define that and to put it in writing. Put it in writing is a more firm decision, and putting it in writing in some place that you can easily access from your website, whether it be in your disclaimer page, your terms of service, or even just a private page where you have your pricing structure defined. Writing that out is going to strengthen your resolve. So when somebody asks you, do you offer discounts, you know exactly how to answer. Now, if you're not sure, if you're thinking there may be a time that you're going to offer a discount of any kind, like I said, this could be to a specific group, it could be a sale price, whatever the case is, before you go and say yes to the discount, there's 3 things that I want you to consider. And the first one is, how much income am I going to actually receive from the sale after this discount? Now, the income is what you're going to bring in before you break it up into those 4 categories of profit, owner compensation, operating expenses, and taxes. What am you going to receive? And when you look at that and see what you're actually going to receive, you may realize that the discount is just a little bit too much. A lot of times we'll set a discount based on a percentage and we'll say, oh, 10 or 20% is no big deal. 10 or 20% could be actually a really big deal when it comes to looking at the actual numbers coming in. So take the time to do that. And then I want you to ask yourself, what benefits is my business going to receive by offering this discount? And this can't be personal benefits. You want to look at this from the perspective of a business benefit. Is it going to be good public relations that you can use to boost the visibility and reputation of your business? Is it going to be something that really truly aligns with your mission and values of your business? Those are benefits that your business is going to receive. But if you look at it from the perspective of, well, this person will really like me and maybe buy from me again, that's a personal benefit and does not belong in this decision-making process. Is it a family member I feel obligated to so the holidays are more joyful? Again, that is a personal benefit and it doesn't belong in this decision-making process. And if you're struggling with the family and friend discount issue, I encourage you guys to check out the video that I did a couple of weeks ago. I actually have the replay and recap on my website. And I'll post a link in this thread here when we're done so you guys can take a look. But it is 3 things to consider and how to deal with those family and friend discounts. So once you have decided the benefits, you've looked at the benefit of this and you feel like, you know what, I think it's a good benefit for my business. I feel like I'm going to make enough income off of this. I want you to ask yourself one final question, and that is, are you 100% comfortable with offering this discount? If you are not 100% comfortable offering the discount, you have to say no. You may not know why you're not comfortable offering the discount, but if you say yes, the why is going to become painfully clear very quickly, and you're going to get stuck doing something that you very well may just resent in the near future. So if you're not 100%, you just need to say, I cannot offer any discounts at this time. And that is okay. This is your business, and you get to say no. You get to say, no, I'm not going to offer a discount. So once you have done that and you've made the choices whether or not you're going to define or offer discounts, now it's time to document that. And as I said before, you may just decide that you're not going to offer any discounts, and your discount policy is simple as, I don't offer discounts. Document that. Put it in writing so that you strengthen that within yourself and you know that that is how you've done it because you've made an informed decision about your business. You've looked at the numbers and you know that it's important for you not to offer discounts in order to get paid what you are worth. If you've decided that you do want to offer discounts, you want to define what those discounts are going to look like. Who's going to receive them, how much discount is going to be available, and how often those discounts are available. And you also want to break the numbers down again to make sure that they still make sense. So I recommend doing what we did earlier, what I did earlier, where I took my standard prices and I broke it into those 4 different categories with your profit, your owner's compensation, taxes, and then your operating costs. When you're looking at those numbers from the discount price perspective, go through the same questions that you asked yourself before. Am I getting paid what I'm worth? When you look at the discount price, are you getting paid a fair value? You might be discounting way too much, and that's never going to help you. And Teresa, I'll get to your question here in just a second, I promise. The next thing that you want to do is, again, can I live off of the compensation, the owner's compensation based on this discount? Let's say you have a month where the only thing you do is sell things at the sale price or at a discounted price. Are you still going to be able to live off of that? If not, you're probably offering way too big of a discount. So you want to make sure that you're putting your discount in the right place. Ask yourself, are you still able to cover those operating expenses? Again, if all you sell is discounts for the month, can you still operate easily? And the key word being easily off of this. And then finally, are there any operating expenses that you no longer need? Looking at that question from the perspective of discounts, you may very well realize that there's more that you can shave off of your monthly operating cost that you haven't even thought about. So let's pause real quick, and I want to take a look at Teresa's question here. The referral kickback. Oh, I think a referral kickback is an awesome way for discounts, especially when you have loyal customers that are referring people and you want to give them a discount. Absolutely, I think it's great, but I think you still want to apply the same approach to that and say, can I afford to do that? Most of the time, you absolutely can afford it. And it's definitely worth it because you're bringing in more money, but you still want to make sure that the referral kickback or the referral discount is going to make sense for your business. But I think it's another great example of a discount that you can offer, and I appreciate you sharing that with us here. All right, so once you've looked at all of that and you know that it makes sense, then you're comfortable. And with offering discounts, I'm going to tell you once again to document that. To document what your sale price is going to be on your products. To document any discounts that you offer to, any special groups. To document the referral process that you have, which Teresa mentioned here, or the kickback policy that you have. How is that going to work? Put it all in writing and create a system that allows you to honor this and to honor your customers when it's time to offer those discounts. Because if you don't have it in writing, you're going to make decisions on the fly when you're stressed and busy and overwhelmed. And when you make decisions on the fly, you're right back to where you were before, where you're not covering all of your expenses easily, and you're creating yourself a lot more stress. So those are my tips and suggestions when it comes to pricing and discounts and how to deal with things. And again, I just want to thank you guys for joining me here today. I apologize that we weren't able to bring Linda in here. I know she is so disappointed that she was not able to come last night to come today when we were visiting earlier. She is just feeling miserable. So if you guys would send her some healing love, that would be so very much appreciated. And then I also wanted to offer one last piece of loving advice before I close for today. And that is just a reminder that you are incredibly valuable and more valuable than you imagine. I know that setting prices is difficult. I know how challenging it can be to set your prices, because by setting a price for the things that you do and offer, you're setting a value on who you are as a person, or at least that's what it feels like. And that can bring up a lot of doubt and fear that is probably not true at all. That is why I want to remind you that you are so incredibly valuable. What you are giving the world is something that is needed, something that is desperately needed. And it doesn't matter what it is. You could be working on medical breakthroughs or offering a Feel Beautiful boutique experience. You could be creating your own form of coffee beans. You're roasting your own coffee, or doing warm fuzzy socks for comfort in the wintertime. Whatever it is that you're doing, there is a value behind it, and you are bringing happiness into somebody's life, and you deserve to get compensated for the value that you offer the world and for making your own corner of the world a little bit of a better place. So those are my closing words today. Thank you guys again for joining me here. Join me next week for a couple new episodes of Coffee Time Inspiration, where I'm going to be sharing some fun, exciting things that I have coming up in March that you guys are not going to want to miss. Again, we'll be meeting on Wednesdays and Fridays at 10 a.m. if you can join me. And I would love to have you guys give me any thoughts that you have and what you would like to see in future episodes. So I'm going to take a look. I've got a couple more comments to address, and then I will wish you all a fabulous, fabulous weekend. Teresa, oh yes, writing is key. Always get it in writing. Even in the referral example of making profit. Yep. You always want to put things in writing because you're just going to strengthen it. So thank you for pointing that out. It is so important that we put things in writing because we strengthen our own resolve. So All right, everyone, thank you so much for joining me here today. I have had a great time chatting about profits with you, and I'm feeling even more inspired myself to get paid my worth. So have a fabulous Friday, an incredible weekend ahead. Those of you in the South Dakota area, I hope you don't get buried in snow. That is my prayer as well. And I will talk to you guys all again next week. Bye.